Live from Los Angeles, welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
Hi, I'm Rob Mack, and also Jesslyn Moyer today.
Oh, we missed her
we do.
Very first day. She's on a great photo shoot. It's a mystery. We're going to find all about it.
Secret shoot, absolutely. Right? This is Good Morning La La Land. We are America's first daily live streaming talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday, 9 to 10 a.m. Pacific time. We're available on all social media outlets, including Facebook, Twitter, Periscope,
Roku, Apple
Video,
TV. We're
Apple
everywhere.
TV, Focus TV, Connect TV. We're everywhere.
That's right. True. Today is Wealth Wednesday, and we are so excited because we have an incredible amount of women that are entrepreneurs, coaches, you name it. All their platforms, we're going to learn about how they have claimed their birthright of prosperity. But we come together every morning to know the truth, to live on spiritual principle, and to align with the universal law. So let's do it.
Love it.
So what's up? It's so weird. It's like
I miss Jesslyn.
I know, it's like a whole new dynamic.
I feel very naked about Jesslyn, right? Don't you?
It is, because everyone has their roles. Everyone has their, it's kind of good, like a little pattern interrupt.
Absolutely. You know, Jesslyn's so great because she's such like a classically trained entertainment reporter and host, and she's just got this incredible ability to deliver great information in an interesting way.
I know.
So I love Jesslyn, sending love to Jesslyn out
there. We have so many amazing women. We're going to give a little shout out all back there. Let's take a look who is in the studio today.
Hello.
Morning, you guys. How are you?
Hi, we're good. Yeah, hi.
Beautiful colors you have there.
A little rainbow.
So, Andrea, we want to start with you. How do you begin your morning?
Oh, well, if I'm not rudely awakened by my 3-year-old, then my morning starts actually with a morning ritual. So I start with visioning and gratitude. Always start with gratitude. I do some visioning, do a little bit of meditation, and usually stick on my power song, which happens to be Jill Scott Golden.
Yes.
And that normally really gets me in the mood. In the first 2 bars, I usually get up and do a little bit of a wiggle. And then the day starts, and I'm like a roller coaster. So
I love that. Andrea is an incredible voice coach. I'm in for an incredible epic women's retreat with Nick Pigeon. Big shout out to Nick. Yay! And then, Helena, how do you start? She is a Girl Unfiltered life coach. Beautiful yellow, on brand today. How do you begin your morning?
Definitely with a cup of coffee. And then I actually love to get in my body, and for me, starting my day with a great workout, and if I don't have time for a great workout, dancing. I've got to move, I've got to get my blood flowing, and music, whether I'm working out or dancing crazily in my bedroom, is a great way to do that. And then, of course, I incorporate meditation and gratitude every day. That is my ritual to stay grounded.
I love it.
Fantastic. Start the day dancing. Bring that.
Right? And Kelly, pretty, you're looking so gorgeous in that blue today, girlfriend. How do you begin your day? Life coach, also an entrepreneur in as well. From where? Europe? Where are you in from?
Yeah, I mean, I start my day kind of similar to these girls, but like for me, meditation is so key. So I love to connect. I love to feel source and just feel really like grateful for everything that's in my life. I think it's an amazing way to start the day. And then I write down all of my intentions for the day as if they've already happened. So like I'll say thank you universe for, and then I'll like list all the things that I would like to happen in that day. And then and then usually a lot of that stuff comes true. So yeah, I love it. I love starting your day on a really good note with lots of gratitude and love.
Wonderful. Perfect. Well, totally in alignment with all of our guests. We're all about mindfulness and meditation around here. How about you, Chelsea? How are you doing? The founder of Rose Botanica. You're looking so beautiful. And my favorite color of that neutral, beautiful.
Thank you so much. My morning, I start with morning stretches, and then I do my morning skincare routine and recite a mantra at that time. And then I have my morning matcha. So practicing mindfulness as well.
Love it.
All
the
right.
mantra and the matcha.
Yeah.
So what's your daily mantra today?
My daily mantra is I am becoming.
Oh, okay. I love it. Well, we're looking forward to all your individual interviews in a moment. So looking so forward to this Women of Empowerment Day.
I have the best job in the world. There are like 12 like beautiful women just sitting here. It's unbelievable.
I know, right? And it's been an epic week. You know, Nick got this great, beautiful home up in the hills. I spent some time with him on Monday. And so I went up there yesterday just to hang with the girls and, you know, get the vibe. And 3 of them came up and they said, okay, we demonstrated from the prayer work yesterday.
What?
So one of them actually manifested $16,000 within 24 hours.
What?
One of them, we did a prayer for her niece around cancer, and we never do a prayer for somebody else. We always do it for our own mind. And she said that some tests came back with really great results within 24 hours. And another one said that she's had shoulder problems and she woke up with no shoulder problems. So whether it be prayer or not,
I got a little shoulder tweak. I need you to work on that right now. I'm not even kidding. That's incredible. So tell me, you know, I think lots of people probably wonder, what do you find or feel is like the secret to effective prayer? Because I think, you know, lots of people pray and they don't get what they want, or they get something different. And so what would you say?
I think it's fun. I used to laugh at people when they said they pray. I was like, oh my gosh, they're so delusional, and like they're praying to some man in the sky. It's never going to work out. But you know, when you understand what true prayer is movement of energy upon universal mind, and which is basically imprinting your subconscious and correlating with the entire universe. So it's really just about expanding your own consciousness and basically not resisting energy and allowing it to flow back into the universe.
So for you, is it specific thoughts or particular feeling or state of being that you're trying to capture and embody in those moments? What is it that you feel or think?
I think that there's two-way prayer. I think that you would probably agree with this. Like, a lot of people think that meditation is just, you know, emptying your mind or whatever, but actually when you empty the mind, you allow for that flow to happen as well. Or you can do what's called affirmative prayer, and it's actually directing and getting such high vibration and commanding and directing and declaring to your subconscious and the universe. So it just depends. People do it all the, I don't think it's a wrong way of praying.
I love that. One of my favorite authors and teachers is Greg Braden, and he always talks about, you know, sort of prayer being it's sort of embodying the state of the wish fulfilled. Neville would talk about the same thing, that sort of
so true.
Right. So it's a question, of course, becoming, but also recognizing that you can be that right now. You can feel that right now.
So true.
So I love that. Wow. 3.
So what have you been up to?
I can't top that. I don't even know how to follow that. How do you follow
doing miracles.
16 grand, a shoulder healing, and like world peace? I can't follow it up.
Right. Yeah. I've heard you. You're on the phone with amazing clients. Rob's like so good at what he does.
Yeah. I mean, I see clients pretty much like all day, every day, back to back. And it used to be really exhausting because I would try to solve their problems for them.
Oh yeah, not a good thing.
Right? I know, it's unbelievable. And I would sometimes want it more than they wanted it, and that would even be more frustrating. And so I've let go of that, and I try to do essentially what you do so well, Erin, which is just be a transparency for spirit and let the wisdom and the sort of that all-knowing presence just flow through me into my clients. And if they're receptive, they receive it, and if they're not, they don't. But either way, I'm good.
It's so true. It's so funny. So we're also talking, of course, it's about money and self-development, knowing that business development is really spiritual development. But I thought it was interesting because I thought, well, it's Wealth Wednesday. Let's talk a little bit about, you know, hashtag Wealth Wednesday. And there's a famous book called The Millionaire Next Door. It's the highest, one of the highest grossing books. I think they've sold 3 million copies. And it was done like some years back, 20 years back, but they've done the research, and the same things are true today, which is basically that people need to save money to build wealth, which I think is an interesting conversation.
Major
and I want well, I want your input on it, because if you take a look at these stats, basically they show that people who you know, have wealth, and wealth is defined differently for each human being, and we know that this exchange of energy, but to build assets and wealth and residual income, it takes saving money. So I want to know your input. Like, what do you think that is for people? Because I think we almost need both. We need to like save and have assets, but we also need to have a full expression and have a total flow and just giving of money back and forth.
Oh my gosh, totally true. And I think the key there, the thread that runs between both of those things, is just having abundance mentality. Right, so if you're saving, so another way of saying that is, I'm always going to say being happy itself is the foundation upon which you build greater wealth in your life and greater abundance. If you're happy, you're going to save more easily because you're not going to try to spend and consume things to fill you up and make you happy, for one, right? So you're not going to get into this like, you know, obsessive compulsive spending habit. At the same time, you're going to be willing to, or happy and excited to give away what you have, because the things you have aren't providing the happiness. It's coming from a deeper place inside. Right. So I agree with you. I think it's a little challenging though, because people spend money in different ways.
I know. I don't think there's like one cookie cutter. In my 20s, I was definitely like the millionaire next door. I saved everything. I made money. I built assets, but I wasn't enjoying it. So I think there's a balance between doing that, building wealth, and you know, they found things like people are millionaire next door. They're very frugal. They make money, but then they're very frugal. They basically do not get money from their parents, and they don't give money to their children. They don't believe in like supporting each other. They believe that there is a mindset of learning to grow your own assets, which I think is important. But I think it's kind of like, in today's world, I think it's really important for people to find their unique expression, but I do think people need to save some money.
Oh, for sure. No question about that. In fact, I know couple, they're millionaires, and it's interesting, they were teachers. They only made $30,000 to $35,000 a year, every year, over year after year, and but they saved so well and they invested so well, they end up becoming millionaires.
That's the millionaire next door.
That's the millionaire
Prime
next door. They're
example.
quiet millionaires. That being said, I also have a friend, and a very creative friend, and he said he was trying to save money his entire life, and then he basically found himself in a business that was making a whole lot of money very quickly. And he said, Rob, I finally discovered how to save money. Just make so much that you can't spend it fast enough. He's like, literally, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't spend it fast enough.
Yeah, but stats show that people that make a lot of money, that spend a lot, don't end up being able to keep their money. So it just depends.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's the truth, it's just stats.
Yeah.
So don't ever listen to stats, don't ever listen to whatever. You
True.
need to listen to what's true for you.
Absolutely, what makes you happy.
That's right. So we have a little rewind from yesterday.
Man,
We had a
great
great
show
show. We've been doing some rewinds. I love these rewinds. Let's take a look.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Chocolate covered strawberries.
So
I was going to have
beautiful.
pancakes, but now.
Pancakes with
delicious.
strawberries on top
Oh
of
my
them, for
God.
sure.
Good call.
Dr. Castillo, you know a way to a woman's heart. Thank you so much for these. We're excited. We'll share them with our guests later in the show.
Beautiful.
Remembering the purpose for sure, and just knowing, there's a lot of people I speak to that say, oh, that's, God bless you, I could never be a foster parent. I would get too attached. Don't you get attached? And I'm like, of course I get attached. But my response to that is that if you think you would be too attached to the children that you'd foster, then you would make an excellent foster parent, because that's what these children need. And one thing I always say is, the way I kind of view it and get through it is, these children are going to sustain and experience so much pain throughout their life. And if I, with my adult-sized heart, can take a little bit of the pain that they would have otherwise experienced, then I've done something good and I've done something lasting. So it's just amazing. But it's continual, just processing your emotions, letting them happen, when they're happening.
I actually, usually when I have no money, it tends to be the best, because I'm not stressed about anything. I'm like, okay, well, I have whatever I have on me, and this is how I will have to live. And I find that people tend to barter. Maybe not so much in the US, but it was super easy to live with no money in other parts of the world. Because I would just work. I would just, be like, I would stay at some family's home, and they would put me to work, and I would work, help them whatever they need, and then feed me, house me, and that was kind of just the way of living. And then here in the US, it's a little more difficult. You have to go back
Especially
right
here
to
in
work.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, but even still, it's like, as long as you just keep going and keep focused, you can make anything happen. I mean, this is how an idea was born.
When I look at a problem in a business or a person's life, I kind of look at it as like a template. And, you can see energy, as you get more sensitive, as weird as that sounds, you can see it and so on and so forth. We can actually now take pictures of it, etc. But as we understand what is happening in that template, and there are certain hooks and opportunities that we either miss or bypass and say, no, that's not for me. And when it's kind of right in our face and it's hitting us against the head again and again, like, go here, do this, take that action. Go get milk, and you don't drink milk. And then that's for somebody else. So there are all of these pieces to code, the way my brain thinks is in code.
Such a beautiful show. Jen Lilly, big shout out. She's a foster mother and informed us that there's like 200-something thousand children that are in foster care in America, and 10% of them are here. So if you are having a burning desire to have a child, then you may consider being a foster parent.
I loved her interview. My
Yeah.
gosh, her heart is huge.
Such beautiful people, right?
Yeah, Steve and John, so interesting. I never ever considered the possibility that you could make protein out of crickets.
Are you going to eat it?
I've tasted it. It tasted really good. I'll be honest.
It's probably better than
Yeah.
the cow issue is the big issue
Yeah.
in America. So
It's a major mind shift, though, isn't it?
It's a major
Yeah.
mind shift.
And Siobhan was great because she talked so much about miracles, and she's a miracle worker. And I'd be interested to follow up and learn a little bit more about how to create.
I'm all about miracles.
Yes.
I think it's a miracle week for sure.
It's a miracle just to be alive, right? It really
It's a miracle
is.
we're doing this without Jeslyn
It
today.
is. That is a miracle in and of itself.
Right?
Yes,
Right there.
because Jeslyn herself is a miracle.
That's
Yeah.
right. So just knowing this day, Wealth Wednesday, claiming your birthright of prosperity. Of course, health is always the most important. Without that, we don't have anything. But knowing that relationships, the creative mind, creative factor, that you get to really create your own unique expression in wealth.
That's
for
right.
sure.
Happiness.
That's right. That's right. So stay tuned. We'll be back for these interviews.
mission is to inspire, enlighten, and entertain, and we have done that with the next issue of Focus magazine, and we are lovingly calling it the Romance Issue. I'm Jessamine Moyer, the managing editor of Focus magazine, celebrating the people of Los Angeles from Malibu to Manhattan Beach and into West Hollywood who are making a difference here in LA. Gracing the cover is Ms. Tosca Mas. She is the co-founder of Passion Flicks. It's a new streaming service dedicated to passion. Also on the cover is Mr. Rob Mack Official, my co-host of Good Morning La La Land, a happiness expert who's got a great take on the language of love. Also on the cover, Ms. Lori Harder. She's released her new book, A Tribe Called Bliss, and she's talking all of the things about loving your tribe. We're also proud to feature Tracy Bregman from Mean Girl to Legend. You may remember her from Young and the Restless, and we're talking her journey in Hollywood. I'm also proud to announce that we have iconic matchmaker Carly Spindell's take on dating in modern romance. And for the love of television, we're also featuring Mr. Larry Namer. He was the co-founder of E! Entertainment, now president of the MeTown Entertainment Group. And we had a very special interview with him on my podcast, LA Unscripted. Also in this issue, we're featuring my dear friends, the Royals Paris, Faye and Hisham, great designers from Paris, now in Beverly Hills. We're also excited to feature Cherie J. Wilson. You may recognize her as one of the femme fatales and quintessential American actresses from shows like Walker, Texas Ranger, Dallas, and now she's launching her own production company, Sandalphon Entertainment. And we are community powered here at Focus Magazine. We're proud to feature Michelle Gillette's contribution, Healthy Sexy Brains. We're also proud to feature how one community mother is taking on our mental health and school violence crisis with her company, Q Wonder. And social media superstar and model is wielding her influence. Focus is proud to feature Sarah McDaniel. And our Focus food editor, Tamby Saffron, had the opportunity to interview Chef Seth Greenberg, who's taking on Beverly Hills with his new restaurant, Citizen. And this woman is reinventing pizza. We've got a great feature on Gail Becker, the founder of Cauliflower, reinventing some of our favorite foods. And our Focus TV travel editor, Wendy Kretschmer, took an incredible trip to the newest Grand Vela seaside sanctuary on Mexico's Baja Peninsula. It's life, love, and the pursuit of romance in the current issue of Focus magazine. Be sure to catch all the video interviews available on Focus TV Network and visit focusmag.us if you want to see the digital copy of this magazine. I'm Jessamine Moyer. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Good Morning LaLa, and it's all about Wealth Wednesday and women's empowerment today. So we have Chelsea Poling in the house, founder of Rose Botanica. How are you, gorgeous?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm so good.
Good.
Tell us a little bit about Rose Botanica. You say you're on a mission to share the power of self-care. So important for all of us.
Yes, the transformational power of self-care. I own a wellness boutique, and it's exclusively online right now. So I sell natural skincare, body care, tools for the spirit, mind, body, spirit. And I'm trying to share the transformational power.
I love it. I love it. So,
thank you.
Wealth Wednesday, we showcase a lot of women,
Yes.
and we know that there's a big transition in the workplace right now. Women are coming in. We're trying to figure out how do we do this in our own unique expression. Was there a moment for you when, you're obviously an entrepreneur? What was the moment for you where you said, "I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm not going to work for someone"?
Yeah. I think I've always kind of desired that, but really it was the mission that found me, and then that kind of spawned this venture.
Tell us about when it found you.
Yeah, when it found me, I was going through a pretty difficult time in my life, probably like the lowest I'd ever been, and I was going through a period of depression and anxiety, and it was really low, like kind of suicidal. So
Thanks for being vulnerable.
Yeah. So I knew that I needed to change my life, and so I sought the advice of a therapist, and she had recommended that I look into my eyes and say I love you in the mirror daily and in the evening. So I found that this was super challenging to do, but I found when I was washing my face morning and evening that I was faced with myself in the mirror, and so it kind of became the perfect opportunity for me to practice this exercise.
Wow.
So over time, it got easier, and I kind of became to look at myself with kinder eyes and really began to like love myself again.
So profound, so profound, because we're all big fans of course of Louise Hay here. She's the founder, and she's passed, but the founder of Hay House Publishing, and she used to talk about mirror work, looking in the mirror and telling yourself that you love yourself. And what would you say, was there a moment when suddenly you began feeling it shift, where you were sort of looking at yourself with kinder eyes? Do you remember that moment?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. It was. And I feel like your pupils actually really grow too. In the mirror, like it kind of became this moment of like like I am a different person, and it was really transformed. And so I think it was that, and then combined with really kind of like intensive self-care, I call it, using different techniques like taking nourishing baths and really kind of having that one-on-one time with myself to like reconnect.
Yeah, we both have struggled with, having depression at times and being like, what's the point of living, and kind of those. And I think that a majority of people probably get there at some point in their life. And I think it's important that we talk about it more and more, because so often we're trying to put on this perfect face. And I know for me that, I mean, I've hit a few lows. It wasn't like one time and then like I decided and it was all better. I mean, I think that it's a real thing for people.
Yeah.
And so what would you say to somebody out there that's going through that maybe doesn't want to live?
Yeah, I mean, I really think that having a self-care practice where you are having those one-on-one moments with yourself and like being able to have that kind of the time to figure out like what you need to tell yourself, because I think deep down like you can seek a therapist or read a book and they're incredible, of course, advice, but I think a lot of the times like we inherently know what we need the most. And so I think giving yourself the time to kind of have that one-on-one talk. And I think a lot of the times that can be in your personal care routine.
Right.
I found that.
It's so incredible, because like you and Dr. Erin, I was depressed and I was suicidal for a strong decade. I mean, and I look back now and I discovered that was the greatest gift that I ever received in my life, because it's led me to do the work that I do now.
Yeah.
So can you talk to us a little bit about that, how it sort of led you to, opening up the wellness?
Yeah, of course. So I was working in Washington, D.C. when I was going through this difficult period, and I was working for the government. I worked for NASA and USAID.
A slacker.
Yeah,
really?
NASA. Yeah. World. And so, like, my job and everything was great, but my personal life was kind of causing the issues. So through like the period, I would say it's probably like a good 2 months of intensive self-care where I really just like focused on myself. And after that period, I was able to kind of I knew what I needed to do, and that was to get out of Washington, D.C. So I moved cross country to LA, and I was sharing with some yoga friends the journey that I had gone on through practicing self-care, and how the self-care tools really helped me have that mind-body connection. And they were like, this is really cool. Like, I think that this is something maybe you should share. And I'd always had a passion for skincare, and also like wanting to join like the natural movement and being really empowered by that, like using non-toxic cleansers. So it all just kind of like culminated and found me, and I was like, this is something I really want to share.
I love that. So we begin our day or end our day with ritual, routine, but yet ritual at the same time. We talk a lot about that. Yeah. So tell us about how we would go through a little routine in the morning or the evening with your stuff.
Yeah, so I have on the website an RBRX, which we've coined the Rose Botanica prescription, and so that takes you through a mind, body, spirit questionnaire, because I really think that self-care is important to all of those aspects. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I do self-care by like working out, and that's great, but I think like it's also important to like tend to the mind and then also the spirit to make sure like that's
And sometimes workouts become like punishment, right? Like I know that. I went through a period of time like that, so it's a great point.
Absolutely, yeah.
Self-care. So you've got here some, what are these, rose quartz rollers?
Yeah, these are
so
rose
beautiful.
quartz rollers that are incredible for lymphatic drainage.
So what do we do? We just like roll them up like this?
Yeah, up and out, exactly.
And do we go on the forehead as well?
On the forehead, it's great to just go, and you can also like roll out.
Okay. And what about, can we use it like on other areas?
I mean, why not? Because it's great for like tightening.
The lymph. Yeah, so there's a lymph system that has like, it's like a very subtle lymph that needs to be moved, that can only be moved through movement, right?
Exactly.
And we don't really move our faces that much, so we have to, unless you're,
Yeah. Because I ran out of little time today and I need to get those bags in the eyes there.
And we can put them in the freezer as well, right?
Yeah, I love putting it in the freezer and then actually putting your favorite serum on first to kind of get like ultimate penetration of your of the serum.
I love them. I love the idea of having a ritual in the morning and a ritual in the evening. It's a great reminder for all of us. So thank you so much for all of your work, for all the women. And we'll have to be doing some rituals around here.
Yeah.
Is there something here?
This is actually just like our packaging because we wanted to make it you know, a little bit more of like you're treating yourself with everything. So
it's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love the colors.
This is a little envelope. Yeah.
You should be teaching how to build your business online too, because clearly you've done a gorgeous job.
Thank you. I have a really great team. So
that's so amazing. So tell everyone where they can find you.
Yeah, so they can find me at www.rosebotanica.com and then on Instagram at rosebotanica.
So appreciate you.
Thank you so much for all your beautiful gifts for the world. Thank you.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi everyone, thank you for tuning into This Week in Focus. I'm your associate producer of the Focus TV network, which is America's first video streaming talk show network, but you already knew that. And I got my girl with me,
Jez Moye, co-host of Good Morning LaLaLand.
So last week on the Focus TV network, we had the Renwood Show. On Purpose with Brittany Zonker, we had
the incredible actor Reggie Watkins.
On the LA Home Show with our host Natasha Phillips
was broker extraordinaire Amy Kane.
Yes. On Eyes Up Here with Lindsay Palis, we had
the actress Shai Fontanet.
On Naked Chats with Josh Murray, we had
Sheena Marie from Vanderpump Rules.
Yes, we're also so excited to announce the newest issue of Focus magazine.
And we are lovingly calling it the Romance Issue. We're proud to feature Ms. Tosca Musk on the cover, along with Focus TV family Rob Mack official.
Yes,
and
our guy.
Lori Harder.
So, speaking of Rob Mack, co-host of Good Morning LaLaLand, Jeslyn Moye, there was a very busy week at Good Morning LaLaLand. Who was on the show?
It was a great week in LaLaLand. On the show, we had two-time Emmy Award-winning producer and actor Eddie Perez.
Yes.
We also had dating expert Laurel House.
What?
She co-hosts the hashtag Man Whisperer with Rob Mack.
With Rob Mack.
We were really excited to talk tennis with Carrie Lynn. And all the way from Orange County, Rachel Savoda.
Wes Gear was actually here repping his Rock to Recovery event.
And Focus TV with Good Morning LaLaLand was on the red carpet to promote Rock to Recovery 3. We talked to Drew Carey, Jeremy Jackson, Kira Reed-Lorsch was there. Let's take a look at the concert.
Let me hear you say, hell yeah! Say, hell yeah! Ready for the F-bomb? Say, fuck yeah! Now scream! I love you guys. Let's do this.
So much fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning into This Week in Focus. I'm Victoria Simone.
And I'm Jessica Moye. Don't miss the new issue of Focus magazine.
Welcome back to Good Morning LaLaLand. We're so excited to be talking all about women's empowerment today on Wealth Wednesday. We have a beautiful Helena Grace Donald in the house. So excited to have you here. She is the author of Learning to Love the Girl in the Mirror. And she also is your life coach. You do so many things. You do tapping, you do all kinds of coaching. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's quite a journey. So it started with the book, actually, just wanting to get my message out there of body positivity and body empowerment, because I think if women can totally embrace who they are and the skin that they live in, then we will be so much more empowered in this world. And I wanted to get that message out there. But tapping actually saved me. So
really?
the emotional freedom technique totally saved me in my life and helped me heal from an eating disorder. So I became so passionate about the effect that that can have on releasing traumas in the body, reprogramming negative or limiting beliefs so that us women can go out and like be our best selves, which is so what this theme of today is about.
So true. Don't you think it's funny that it's like, as women, it's almost like we cannot have success in one area if one area is off.
Totally.
Like it's like we need it all. It's like the whole holistic thing. We need to heal everything and everyone, and then we'll rise.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes, like, you know, we're female entrepreneurs. I've been surrounded by amazing female entrepreneurs this week, and it's amazing. But you're totally right. I think we need to focus on just as much of the business side of things as our own inner healing work and our own self-development, or we'll kind of just keep hitting a ceiling, or something will be reflected in our business that is actually showing up in a lesson that we need to go through in our personal life as well.
So true.
It's so powerful. So how do you do that? How do you calibrate for each? I think sometimes different principles apply, maybe even the same principles, but they apply in different ways in each area of your life. So is it hard to sort of, you know, move from one area and focusing on business to back to the self-care? And
in my personal life, oh my gosh, I think they actually bleed so much into one. It's not present in my body or aligned with my message, or releasing a limiting belief that might possibly be holding me back from even earning the amount of money that I want to attract into my life, then it all bleeds into one. And that's why we have to start with that morning ritual, or I really have to face myself in the mirror every day and say, okay, how am I not showing up as the best version of myself? Because that is gonna either reflect in my work or reflect in my work with my clients. So I think I don't really separate them, I think they actually really bleed into one.
Right. I'm sure there's people out there that look at it and they go, well, she can do it because, you know, X, Y, and Z. Tell us, you know, we'd like to hear, you know, we don't like to focus, of course, on the darkest hour, but we've all had that dark hour. And I think it's important to get vulnerable just to have people realize, like, there's people out there that are struggling right now, or there's days where we just struggle. Like, what does that look like for you? What is your darkest hour? What's your struggle look like for you?
Absolutely, and we all go through that. There's ups and downs, peaks and valleys. And that's why it's so important to have work that you know, or a tool you can use, that when that happens, you know how to work through it, because each level you go through, it might keep showing up. But my darkest hour was actually probably throughout my teenage years. Like, that was really tough for me. So I lived 24/7 with my own inner little Miss Critical. I write about her in my book. And she just put me down. She really told me all of the ways that I was not good enough. I was taking on other people's opinions in my life, and all of that myself to be perfect manifested into an eating disorder. So as I went on that healing journey and discovered the power of self-love, and that's quite an umbrella term, like self-care and self-love can be messy too. But it really empowered me to step into who I am, to embrace the inner wisdom within me, and to stay aligned with what I want to do in this world and how I want to show up.
I hate that bitch that lived in my head like years ago. I was like, this girl has to go. You're like, make peace. Look, we got to figure this out. Let's come to terms here, you know, and then you like finally make peace with that. All the different personalities inside, you know?
If we wouldn't say it to our best friend, like, why is it okay to say it to ourselves? And we actually, I ran a workshop on Saturday, and it was really amazing because we personified the women's inner little Miss Critical. And what was the most amazing tool for them to see is, it was so hard for the person playing Little Miss Critical to say those things to their partner. And it made them realize, hang on, I'm saying these things to myself, so why is that okay?
I know. It's so, the inner peace is everything. And I mean, Rob teaches that more than everything.
Oh my gosh, it's priceless. Yeah. We were talking a little bit earlier in the show about sort of how to become a millionaire, at least according to the book. And I think I've shared it maybe once before, but Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, right? Later in his life, he discovered all these principles by studying very successful, wealthy people, and he wrote them in the book. And then later in his life, he had lost all that. Lost all his money, and so then he decided to write a second book called Think and Grow Rich with Peace of Mind, because he didn't have any peace along the way either. But peace is priceless, absolutely.
Absolutely, and what money means to us, because money is also an umbrella term, and I work with women on money mindset as well. And we can have like associations with money that can actually cause us to make a lot of money and then lose it, or traumas related to money, or what we've learned about money from our parents and from society. And especially as women who for a long time have been told it's not safe for you to even earn money, you know, over the generations, or it's not okay for you to make your own money. It's amazing to start helping women reprogramming that so that we can become, you were talking about abundance and alignment, so we can become aligned with that.
I love it. So
I have a question, and I think it's one that people struggle with sometimes. And you know, I think in this spiritual journey, you know, we want to take responsibility for what happens in our lives, right? Because we can manifest things and we can lose things, we can all do all this. And so much of that is up to us. At the same time, there are sometimes things that happen that you can't necessarily attribute to something that you did or thought or felt. So let's just say, you know, you put money into a bank, the bank fails. So how do you do that? How do you find sort of self-love and take responsibility for your life in the midst of other things that are uncontrollable, right? Like other people and...
Because I think the only thing we can control is ourselves and our reaction to it. And things will come up, traumas will happen. I talk about trauma, but I mean, I'm not talking about huge trauma. It can also be something like that. There's traumas linked to money. And that's where I believe tapping comes in, and allowing that thought, that trauma or that experience to be released in the body, so that it's not something we hold on to, so that the next time you invest in something or you put money in the bank, you're not having the thought process, I'm going to lose this again, or this isn't safe. So that we can come and approach life from our most grounded and centered place.
Love that. Could you, for the folks that don't know exactly what's happening, can you explain a little bit more for them?
It's not getting on some tapping shoes and dancing. No, so it's actually, it's called the emotional freedom technique, and it's actually tapping on certain points on the body, acupressure points, without putting any needles in you, something you can do at home. And accepting actually the thought or the belief or whatever is coming up for you at the time and vocalizing it. As you do that, it's great to be led with a practitioner because they can intuitively lead you where you need to go. But as you tap and actually verbalize what you're feeling, it releases the pressure that is on that belief. It releases the thought. And you can take someone from, for example, myself, who is 10 out of 10, I need to throw up my meals. That was a belief that I had. Right down to minimizing that to a 3 or a 2, so that you can start that healing journey. You can start releasing that pattern or negativity or limiting beliefs.
So fascinating how the body holds the memory, and then as we release it and get more flow, then you're able to release the emotions and actually come to some normal new choice in your life.
Absolutely.
So tell people where they can find you.
Awesome. My brand is Girl Unfiltered, so Instagram is @GirlUnfiltered. My website's girlunfiltered.com. That's probably the best thing. Reach out. I love chatting with all of you and connecting with all of you. And I have a Facebook group called the Self-Love Tribe with Girl Unfiltered.
I love it.
Love that.
Yeah.
Off the filter, get that self-love up.
Yes. Stay tuned, you guys. We'll be right back.
For you, in this moment, what feels most true to you?
The three of you. Really grounded and present, and like honored to be sitting with other like-minded individuals. I think that it's so important with everything that's going on in the world that this is our now, that this is hopefully the future. And because of the experience with certain things on TV in the past, it's heartbreaking. And it's heartbreaking to watch, and it's heartbreaking to see other people go through it. And people out there watching it don't really understand what it does to your psyche and to your heart. It's just tragic. And so I think what you guys are doing here is absolutely just a gift.
Right. This is my sanity.
I can see that.
There's so much insanity in my life and uncertainty. This is my truth.
I have a hard time saying no to. One is a boy in a band, and the second is a Snickers bar. So I write a song about both.
I hear you, sister.
Chasing you down like an ice cream truck. Every damn time that my phone lights up, I'll be salivating at the sound of what's up. Yo, what's up? Boy, you're delicious. It's too bad you ain't nutritious. When you say my name, it's like candy. When you kiss my lips, it's like candy. You're no good for me, you're like candy. You're like candy, hey.
Oh, thank you guys.
Love addiction. I hear it. Wow.
Do you guys want to be my backup?
I was like, okay, you guys, come on. We need to get vulnerable here.
Totally. I think it's okay to pepper it in, and I love beautiful content, and I've always been a fan of putting out really quality content, but at the same time, I think that it's really important for my industry to tell their story. The mission has definitely been to inspire women to be the best version of themselves and kind of be an example and a role model for a lot of girls that are reading my blog. But
what's been the biggest challenge for you in doing this, in building this business?
Ooh, the biggest challenge, I think, is how consistent you really have to be. So what I've had to do is learn that I'm like a cell phone. I have 100% charge, and it goes down to 1%. And when it's down there, I need to step back, recharge. The consistency of creating content, it can be a lot, but I think I love it. And
Welcome back again to Good Morning La La Land. We are talking all things women empowerment, so important in today's world. On Wealth Wednesday, we have Kelly Pretty in the house, and you are looking so pretty. She is a speaker, soulmate strategist, and love mentor. Wow, I like that, soulmate strategist. How do you strategize to get your soulmate?
Well, I guess like in life, we have strategies for everything, don't we? We've got like strategies for our business or money, or just, we're so used to having strategies for everything, taking the kids to school, you know? But a lot of people don't strategize their love life, and they think that it's just gonna happen for them naturally. And I think that you have to do a lot of groundwork up to the point of actually bringing in the right person. Because from my experience, like I had, you know, quite a turbulent time with men, shall we say, for about 10 years. And it was once I'd done a lot of the kind of inner work that I managed to bring in a much more healthy, amazing relationship. So I thought, well, if I can do it when I'm a complete disaster, then anyone can do it. So I was like, right, I'm gonna be a soulmate strategist, which I believe is over here, right?
So we talk about this a lot, right?
We do, yeah.
Yeah, so you know, we've come a long way in our journey. You know, Rob's been a life coach on Famously Single, and I struggled with codependency and stuff for a lot of years, and it's taken a long time to find some freedom around it.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting because I've contemplated and prayed on what is a soulmate exactly. And I'm in a very good relationship, but I believe that there is, I believe it's more like whatever needs to be healed, and a person that's going to pull up your crap so that you can get healed. What do you think? Do you believe that people have one soulmate?
I'm of the same opinion as you, to be honest with you. I think that you have more than one soulmate, and they can come in like a variety of kind of bodies, I guess. Like that can be your friend, or that can be your mother, or like I really believe that we've kind of lived past lifetimes with certain people, and they're in a, you know, that they're in your life for a reason, to help you grow and to help you become the best version of you in this lifetime. So
Totally agree, totally love that. And I do agree that there's not one soulmate, there's one soul mate. Right? Or just one soul. Yeah. Like all one.
I love that.
It's my tweetable for today. That's all I got. That's all I got.
So how do you help women? You know, women get we get so incredibly attached to that fantasy of finding the one and getting married and the wedding and the ring and like I just want to smack myself and all women out there like, wake up! What's wrong with you? What do you do with that?
So a lot of people will come to me looking for love specifically, and they really want to meet their soulmate. And then over the time period of working with me, they'll realize that they are their own soulmate. They realize actually some of them are like, I don't actually want anyone right now. I love my life so much the way it is, because they learn to connect with something bigger than themselves. They learn to connect with themselves, but then they learn about the universe or God or whatever you want to call it, and they just become so empowered and realize, actually, I can create the perfect life for myself, and I don't need a man to do it for me, or I don't need to rely on a man financially.
And then bam, that's when they come up.
I was going to say, where's that woman at? I want to hang. I can hang with that person.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like the kind of main thing is the self-love piece and the kind of empowering yourself first. And then, like you said, then the right person comes in.
Because on your website it says, is the only thing missing from your life an amazing person to share it with? And I would imagine that's like the hook. And then you're like, surprise, it's actually not what I'm learning right now.
It is, because I really I love people, and I love women, and I love helping them. And I just think that when you're in that place of like lack and not knowing what to do and turbulence, you kind of need something to exactly what I need, because you think that's what you need. And then when you actually start working on yourself and meditating and really kind of tuning into who you are as a soul, you're like, oh, actually that's not all.
So true, so true. Oh my gosh. Well, you are seriously pretty. That's an interesting name.
Thank you.
What's your lineage from pretty? I've never heard that last name.
So my dad's from England. I don't actually know specifically where it comes from, but yeah, it's interesting for my brother.
Yeah.
He's like, damn, I wanted to be Mr. Handsome.
Right. Well, it's been such a joy getting to know you with all the women up at Nick's place this week. So thank you so much. And where can people work with you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, thank you for having me. So yeah, they can find me on Instagram. I'm at Kelly_pretty. Or my website is www.kellypretty.me. So yeah, so I love working with people, and hope if they want to reach out, they can feel free.
We love the work you're doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So important. Self-love.
It's everything.
For sure.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, you guys. We'll be right back.
Roll.
Drum roll, please. Part of the Focus TV family, Ms. Kelly Gores is gracing the cover this month. She is the filmmaker behind the Heal documentary. We have a very special interview with Mr. Mark Teschner, Ellen Rakitin, and of course some incredible people. We have a special video about it as well. It's very near and dear to my heart because this issue, I actually was the managing editor.
You did so much work, Jazz.
Yeah,
big shout out to Andy and you and everyone that has been involved, for sure.
Thank you, Andy, for the opportunity to be such an active part in this community.
Speaking of empowerment, Jeslyn, you crushed it.
Right?
Wow,
Boy.
thank you, Rob.
You are a power player, girl.
I really appreciate that. I couldn't do it without the both of you. You are my enlightenment. You are my life school every morning. So thank you for letting me be a part of your community.
So for people that haven't seen the documentary, let's just give them a little overview of what is the documentary. We're going to show the trailer in a minute, but from your perspective, tell them a little bit about it.
Yes. So the film is basically showing people how incredible the body is and how we're designed to heal, and how big of an impact our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions have on our physical body. So as you guys were mentioning before, those 9 healing essentials that people, tapped into, only 2 of them are physical. The rest were mental, emotional, and spiritual. So that I look at as kind of the ratio for what you need. If you want to heal physically, you really need to bring in the emotional and mental factors. And we see it in the placebo effect, how what you believe affects your biochemistry and your physiology. So belief and the mind-body connection is very powerful.
Good morning, La La Land, and we have the huge honor of being with Lillian Garcia.
Oh my God.
This month, gracing the cover of the Influence issue
Look at
of
that.
Focus magazine. Thank you so much for being
It's a beautiful
here.
picture.
So gorgeous.
Holy crow. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. This is really crazy. I mean,
it's beautiful.
You guys
picture.
have no idea what this means to me.
It does?
Yeah, it does. I tear up like so easy sometimes, but no, this is great. Thank you.
Of course, is the cover. Gorgeous.
Oh my God,
gorgeous
that
cover.
is so awesome.
And we have another little surprise for you, which is your article within the magazine.
This is
and
so
the cover.
amazing. Holy moly, what is
There we
going
go,
on? Oh
Biggie.
my God.
Oh.
When I'm out of town, I will leave that for my husband.
Welcome back. All about women's empowerment on this Wealth Wednesday. We are so honored of this gorgeous, gorgeous woman in the house. Andrea Callanan is you're in from the UK.
I'm in from the UK, from Wales.
All right. She's a voice, confidence, and success coach, Inspire Me founder. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
A voice success coach.
Okay, so I started life as a singer, started life as a performer. I became a voice coach about 24 years ago. Boom!
She's 27?
Yeah, I'm like 27, started when I was 3. Really good skincare. Yeah, so I've been doing voice coaching for a long time. So for the most amount of time, I did that in the music industry with singers and actors, and then moved into speakers and realised that so much of how we find our voice is internal. And that whole piece around your self-worth, and around who you are, and around your emotional well-being, and around happiness. And I was a person who was born into a family where, you know, happiness wasn't the thing really. So I discovered my happiness through a journey, as you do. And so...
And by family, you mean world.
The
world family.
Because Dad probably watched me on Facebook.
So voice is so fascinating because, you know, of course, we're intrigued by great speakers.
Yeah.
We love voice. And in even yoga, mantra, when we get in there in Kundalini, they teach us that the voice and the mantra is really about finding your specific voice and loving it so profoundly and building it, and really, it's like one of the most spiritual tools we have.
It's your frequency. It's your frequency. So if you think about a sound wave, your personal frequency, I mean, we emit our frequency, don't we? But at the same time, your voice, your audible frequency, is one of our primary ways of communicating. And I think finding your voice, you know, like knowing that I can listen to somebody speaking and I can tell what's going on for them emotionally, and I can tell what's going on for them physically.
How can you
Attention. It's all about tension, yeah? So if you hear tension in somebody's voice, then, and I guess it comes with experience, obviously, but you can hear. And I guess when you're an empath and you're intuitive and you've done light work and all the rest of it, and the voice work is fascinating because for me, it's all about choice. And for me, that's why the income streams that I have actually are all completely intertwined. So, you know, the way I started my corporate business was by taking singing into the workplace. And that's how we created Workplace Happiness, got returns on investment.
Incredible.
It's amazing. And it is to do with connecting because it makes you physically present. You know, it's all about being present.
Yeah, oh, it's everything. How does a person start? You know, if they want to discover their voice, where do they start?
They start by making a noise. You know, just make a noise. And it's really interesting, like on the way to the studio here, we were stuck in traffic. And one of the things we did was crank the music up really loud. We just started singing and dancing really loudly because it's to do with a cellular level on how you feel. And most people aren't, should I say this? Most people aren't awake. And one of the ways that we get awake is by getting present and physical. So one of the easiest ways to do that is by using your voice. So that's how you start. And then I guess it's to do with what you want to do with your voice. So once you have an intention, do you want to be a speaker? Do you want to be a singer? Are you somebody who just needs more confidence and you need more self-worth and you need more gravitas in your voice? Are you a leader? You know, especially for women. I mean, women, it's fascinating.
So fascinating. So when we were doing our session, after you said, were you channeling what happened? Because your voice changed, you know, and it does. And I noticed that if I'm really grounded, then I come into a completely different voice than if I'm kind of like getting frazzled. And it really changes. But when I go into a Kundalini class, one of my favorite things is that we sing mantras the entire time. And you can't help but be in this ecstatic state by the time you walk out of there, because you've just, the vibration has just permeated every cell in your body. And so what do you do for people? How do you have them warm up in their voice? How do you work with them to get in that tone?
If I'm doing it with businesses, if I'm going into organizations, we trick them into singing. We get them to breathe and sigh, and then suddenly they're singing and they don't realize it. And the endorphins that are released and the nitric oxide that flies around your body and all of this type of stuff is so amazing for well-being. You know, so we trick people into doing it. But I guess for people who are serious about their voice and they're actually trying to develop their voice for some reason, the way that I start is actually through their emotions and through their mindset and their self-worth piece. Is 80% internal. And 20% physical. And that's, you know, the positive psychology side of things. If you look at mindset, if you look at, I mean, my expertise is self-worth. So if you look at that and you look at the links of that with people with money, with women, giving themselves permission to earn money and to step up and to own businesses and to be entrepreneurs, and or even just to speak up. It doesn't have to be linked to wealth, but often it is.
What about the different tones? You know, there's or different levels. You know, some voices, some women have lower voices, and it's shown that we are very masculine driven when we think of leaders. So women that have lower voices are seen more as leaders. How does that play into working with clients and what their true?
So shall I do a demonstration for you?
Yeah, let's do it.
So I'll show you what how I used to speak.
Okay.
So I come from a very small seaside town called Barry in South Wales, which is like this ravaged working class place. Nice.
Ravage working class place. I like that.
So, and actually, James Corden wrote a program called Gavin and Stacey, which is set in Barry. Okay, so if Late Show decides to watch this, and they can do a shout out. So I used to speak like this. Hiya, I'm Andrea. I come from Barry. This is how I talk, and my family talk like this. I talk really fast. I talk really high. It's really tense. There's a bright sound. And when I started to train as an opera singer, my singing teacher just knew that if I carried on producing sound like that, I wasn't going to do very well. And actually, I lost my voice for a whole year. I couldn't speak for a whole year. I had to learn to speak, which is one of the reasons why the voice is my expertise. And when she'd re-taught me to speak, she'd be like, darling, you need to lower your tone. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? You know, and it's all to do with your breath. It's all to do with your tone. It's to do with being grounded, most definitely. You know, the stance for when you sing, when you're trained to sing, is both feet grounded on the floor, like you're super glued to the floor. You know, that rooting that you do in shamanic practice, where you do those rooting, it's exactly like that. Your breath and your alignment is so important. It's so similar to Kundalini and yoga and all that stuff. So I think if you can, first of all, know what impact you're having, because it's about impact and influence, right? That's what it all boils down to. And having a voice that has gravitas, having a voice that has weight, having a voice where your voice carries and people listen, is all teachable, all of it. And I believe, this is my method, I believe that you can't do it unless you do the internal work.
Oh, completely.
It's got to be the internal work first. And so loads of people will come to me for voice coaching and they get really confused. And I'll be like, no, you've got to do this work. And it's not for everybody. People don't want to go there sometimes, you know?
They're like, no, I just want a good voice. No, you need to do
sing. It's like, you can sing, but you're going to be either amazing or you're going to be just okay. And if you're with me, you're going to be amazing. So
I love it because it's such a niche, and yet it is like everybody needs it, because the voice is, it comes down to your self-worth, your connection to yourself, the connection to source, connection to everything. Like, it's such a profound work. I want you in my life.
I'm in your life, Erin. It's fine. I'm not going anywhere. I'm like super glue, so it's fine.
So where can people find you?
They can find me on andreacalinan.com. They can find me Andrea Calinan Voice on Insta and on Facebook. Twitter, I'm Andrea_Calinan, and inspireme.com if they want to inspire their teams. So
thank you so much for inspiring us.
You're so welcome.
Profound work.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Jessie Golden, and I am the creator of The Golden Secrets, a completely, no, hang on a second, sorry. Can we start over? Today's guest is the founder and CEO of Viva Glam magazine, hang on a second. Today's guest is an 8-time stand-up paddleboard, hang on a second, I'm sorry. The heavyweight, the UFC middleweight, I totally fucked that up. Hang on a second. Today's guest is a medical doctor who utilizes the, why am I? motivational, I fucked up, hang on a second. Oh shit, really? Damn it, Andy.
She's like, I like the black. Most women do.
I hope you're filming. Were you recording?
She's like this.
Oh, I actually hope that you're filming.
I'll stop.
Those would be good, actually, for promotion. I know. Wait, I'm just getting started. Yes, a golden secret. It's no longer a golden secret.
Welcome back to Women's Empowerment Wednesday on Good Morning LALALAND. Just had a fantastic, really, series of conversations with these beautiful, intelligent women. And I think the question I have for each of you is if there's one thing that you would recommend women do to empower themselves in a greater, deeper, or fuller way, what would you recommend?
You got to own it. You just need to step into who you are. And if you don't know who you are, go and get some help. Just go find one of us. We'll help you.
That works. That works. Love that. How about you?
I'd say finding a self-care routine that works for you. I think is what I'm saying.
What's at the top of your self-care routine?
Mantra.
Mantra.
Mantra really works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it. Awesome.
I think for me, morning mirror affirmations are really powerful. So they're kind of similar to mantras, but like when you look into the mirror, right into your eyes, I believe it connects you to your soul and it just really taps into your subconscious. So they're really powerful for me in terms of, you know, self-love, that type of thing.
Love it.
Love that. Don't be afraid to do the personal development work.
Boom.
Yes.
Boom. And if it's too scary to do by yourself, as you said, hire somebody to support you and guide
So
you through
true.
that.
Well, we want to give a big shout out to Nick Pigeon who brought all these lovely ladies. Big shout out to Jeslyn. We love you. We miss you, and you are
So
here with
much.
us in spirit for sure. We are America's first daily live streaming talk show, bringing all about consciousness, positivity, good news, all the above. We're waking up the world together. Have a divine day, you guys.
Bye.